2026? Are we in 2026?
Happy season 3. Here we are. Defined. I'm Eric Yocklin.
I'm Rick Sykowski. Happy
Oh,
New Year,
man.
everyone.
We're back.
We are back. What a long break since our last time we did a podcast. It was like 3 minutes ago.
There's like 3 minutes. That sounds about right.
We recorded 2 in one day. We did the gifts episode, and then smartly, Eric said that was the end of season 2.
I was going to say, and we're going to start off with a banger here in the beginning because you're going to give an actual defining moment in your life. You're going to give a little story associated with a defining
Story
moment in
time.
your life.
Well, the problem, you set the bar so high with your firecracker story.
Oh, I know.
With how prepared? No, you did. With how prepared you were and
prepared?
everything.
Sure.
And it was entertaining. Everyone says it's one of our better episodes. When it's just you and I. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So today, this is actually the second time we're doing this episode. I don't remember why we scrapped it the last time. Do you? Wasn't it like halfway through? Didn't you get called or something?
No, I think honestly, I think some of it had to do with. Well, there were a couple things. One, we didn't just give it its own episode. We kind of did some stuff, and then we kind of went into it, which didn't help focus it well enough.
Yeah.
And then the other piece was you just kind of went through some of your notes, and you're like, I'm just not happy with how it went, and I'd like to prepare a little bit better, and think about it a little bit more, type thing.
So I didn't prepare better. So who knows how this will go?
Here we go. Let's grab it again.
So the thing is this is all stemming from a journal that I kept. I've kept a journal one time in my life, and this was it. And it was my trip to India, one of my first major filming gigs. And it's just page after page after page of nonsense.
Right. So let's
thing is.
It's not nonsense, and let's set the stage a little bit here about it.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be 70 pages here.
I love everything about that. So, but
we're not going through 70
things.
pages.
No, we're not.
No, I'm trying to prepare the audience so they know there's an ending to
click.
this.
Yeah. But a couple things about that. I know you have this thing where you feel like when you go back and read it and you call it nonsense or you like whatever, you get really down on yourself about your former self. And I say former self because this is over 20 years ago.
2001.
Yeah, so 24 years ago, right? 25 years ago. So
wow.
Yeah, 25 years ago, that's more than half your life. You're a different person back then. So the things that you did and you recorded and you experienced or you reflected on, at that time, you have this thing where you get embarrassed about it. It's like, no, dude, that's the stuff that was happening then. And it's part of what makes you who you are today and a story that you can tell, which has some crazy elements associated with it. I think it's awesome that you kept that because you wouldn't be able to remember half of these things at this point in your life had you not written it down.
Well, part of the problem too was all through film school I faked I hate this word, being a filmmaker. Like I faked it. Like, oh, Citizen Kane is so brilliant and stuff. I just found it boring. I can say that now because I'm secure in what I like and what I don't like. And if you don't like what I don't like, I don't care. Like, right. You're not going to convince me that it's a good movie.
Sure.
We could sit and talk about what's good about it, and I could be like, yeah, there are good moments or whatever. It's just in a top. It's like always number one on everyone's film list. Is it the best film ever made? No. Do I see the merits and value of how it pushed things forward?
Influential
sure.
And
all that stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
But like, to me, Back to the Future did all that for me. And the thing was, in film school, I always felt like I had to be pretentious because everyone around me was pretentious. Like I had to hide how much I loved Armageddon.
Right. I remember that. And I remember a point where you did actually get comfortable enough to discuss that and remember you having to constantly defend it, right?
Yeah.
And
it was always defending, or like Bad Boys or The Rock, like Michael Bay movies. I like those popcorn entertaining movies. And when you're in film school, you can't do that. No, let me rephrase that. Small art college film school. Well, I'm sure at NYU or something like that. Yeah.
I don't. So honestly, it could be worse at a more prestigious school. I don't know, because Carrie ran into this in her MFA program of the like fine art, like what is fine art, right? So anytime you're in the arts, which you know, making film, it would be, or you know, film and video or whatever would be considered in certain regards, then there's a world that exists where people look down upon you for not having a certain level of, you know, pedigree in their eyes or whatever. It's you know.
Yeah.
So I get it though, that you felt like you had to play the part, but that made you feel like a fraud, and you know.
But it also transcended just film school, because I started my career out like that, where I felt like going through this journal. Well, two things. One, going through this journal, like I tried to be poetic when I didn't have to be. Like there's no reason. Like when you're driving down, you'll see when you're driving down the street and you're lost on a straight road and you're lost. Like I tried to make it poetic and, you know, and like how I'm feeling and stuff. So I get that I can go back in that moment and be like, all right, I get the feeling I was going for. But the bigger issue that I have with my writing in this is when I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh,
so
yes.
Yeah. So I have on the side here notes like this could make a good bit. And it wasn't until I was like, what does that mean, good bit? And I was like, oh.
That's right.
I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And so the thing is just like in film school where I didn't have my own personality, when I was writing jokes, I took on the New York crowd. You remember we were watching Tough Crowd at that point?
Sure.
Colin Quinn, Jim Norton, Patrice O'Neill, Kevin Hart. Like the New York comedians, they were rough but they lived that life, so they could. So I would say like edgy things, but I'm not that guy. So it's like there's edgy things in here that just come across as racist, and so like I can't even say them now just because it's like I don't even understand the joke that I'm trying to make there.
Got it. Okay, so I want to clarify one of those parts. So were you the guy that grew up in New York and have that tough guy, whatever? No, but have you always been the one to say the edgy thing, the borderline, if not inappropriate thing to get a laugh? Yes. That's definitely always been you.
That's
right.
true.
So that does fit, and it would fit that's the persona you were going to take with you to try and do stand up, right? That goes along with that. All that said, that's not where you're at in your life at this point. So
let's skip over those.
Racist.
Now that we don't want this podcast to go away, let's skip over.
We
some
could
of
open
those.
season 3 with a real banger, but
just open and end one episode. All right, so we'll go through this and I'm going to skip around, and I know you've heard a lot of this, so if I'm missing something or whatever, jump in or whatever.
But you got to set. We're not going to. Unless your journal lays that out for you, I want to be reminded of the setup for the trip itself.
I'll get there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the setup is this. I was working at Dale West Video Productions. Dale West is the greatest guy in the world. Gave me my start.
Shout out. Dale.
He was like a father to me. He still is. Like he's unbelievable. While I was working there, we had I'm going to call him a client, but they're kind of more than a client. Like we would go to their houses and stuff, especially when I was out of school. But they had a show coming out on HBO that they were going to New Delhi, India, or I'm sorry, Dharamsala, India, to film. And the show was at the time this kid Shally was 10 years old. And he was going to interview the Dalai Lama, and
that's Milo's age, which is crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Right, it's insane to think about.
Crazy that he's
but
directing
anyway,
this
keep going.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so Dale helped him out because he had a doc before that called Party Animals, and it was he like interviewed George W. Bush, interviewed Al Gore, I think Schwarzenegger.
This is Shally you're talking about.
Shally. He was probably like 8 at the time interviewing these people, and there's a picture. I want to say it's on the front of like the New York Times or something. I don't know if it's the New York Times, but where Al Gore's getting down on Shally's size, on his level, to answer the question, and he's in the snow on his knees. So this presidential candidate talking to his 10-year-old reporter.
Published somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I want to say New York Times, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so the kid was awesome. Like the thing is he was really quick on his feet, and that's what I remembered about him. Is that like he would ask questions, but they were 10-year-old asking the question, but they didn't feel like a 10-year-old. They're kind of things that I wanted to know. Like,
Sure.
like just a case in point, like the Electoral College. He was the only one that was asking about the Electoral College before that whole thing happened with the Electoral College in Florida.
So I don't want to derail too much, but
Yeah.
What were these genuine Shally questions, or was he fed a lot of this stuff?
Well, we didn't have like, I mean, certainly not in India. He didn't have like a headset on,
In-ear
or
monitors
like
or
that.
anything. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, his parents were involved. I'll say that. Like, they didn't just send him out to go on.
Sure,
do that.
he's
Like,
10. They have to be
10,
involved.
Yeah, but they would like have like witnessing. They would have conversations. And it was like they would teach him, like, and then he would ask the questions and kind of have that in the back of their head. So the next gig was going to be how does a child monk become a monk? And that's never been filmed. To my understanding, it's never been filmed. Even after that, I don't know that anyone's ever filmed the actual process of how does a kid become a monk. So this was an HBO project, which we'll get to why that matters later. But Dale West was like, Rick, you should go along with this. At that time, I knew camera, I knew sound, I knew a little bit of everything because of going to film school. And,
Some of your production background, and
Yeah. And then there was this other kid, which, I'm blanking on his name. I'm sure I have it in here somewhere. But there was another young kid. He was probably, I had to have been like 22, 23. I want to say he was like 17. Also, keep in mind, other than you and I going to Canada, which isn't, back in the 90s, wasn't traveling out of the country. It was just Michigan plus.
Cross the border. Yeah, you're crossing the border to go.
You're going into Windsor to have some drinks.
Yeah.
And so this was going to be my first time leaving the country. So that's the setup.
Okay, and they had the younger cameraman because that was part of the shtick of trying to have kids. This be a kid production type thing, right? Like,
yes,
the youth
right. Yeah, they didn't want seasoned professionals, and rightfully so. Like, because if it's seasoned professionals, you're going to get too caught up on the things that only matter to seasoned professionals.
Right, the
things
technical aspects and all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and let's set
100%.
up all the lights perfectly
100%.
and stuff. And sometimes that just doesn't work.
But they were leaning into the child
Yes.
elements of the whole project.
Yeah. So traveling was Shally, his parents, who are awesome, Colleen and John, myself, and then this other cameraman, which it's killing me that I don't remember his name because he was a really good guy. Maybe I'll find it through here. But so we left out of Miami, went to I believe New York, and then flew New York to Russia. So I flew twice before this, I believe, maybe 3 times. Once when I was like 18 on spring break, and then a couple times when I was in college to go back home. We would normally drive because of how cheap it was to drive. So we'd always do the 24-hour drive thing. The thing that stuck out to me and how I have in my notes here is they had smoking sections in the plane. So you can you're up front or in the back. I believe the back was smoking. Dude, you're in a plane.
Yeah, it's
the
all
smoke
shared
goes
air.
nowhere. It was horrific.
Wow. I wonder if that still exists somewhere for flights to Russia.
I can't imagine so.
But I talk about 25 years ago, right?
Yeah. I don't know. But keep in mind too, so I have this as 7801. And then it says after I lost my journal. So this is the second time going through this.
Oh, wow.
So some of this was just me remembering back then.
Yeah.
Like I have in here things, and the other shitty thing that I did was I highlighted things I want to talk about, but I highlighted them in yellow on this yellow pad. So like it's hard for me to see because like I see here bad driving. Miami has bad drivers, and I go into a shtick that we're not going to get into.
Oh, what? Come on, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Miami's the worst.
It's the worst. So we get to New Delhi, and
Wait. You just skipped over. Wait.
Okay. So we went to Russia first, and then to New Delhi, India, and I don't know why we did that. Like, if you look at the flight path, that is it had to have been a cost thing.
Probably. So, and I'm terrible with geography. So you flew to Russia and then flew again. It was a layover to New Delhi?
Yeah, there was a layover in Russia. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have in here a couple things, but there's nothing. Just to get through this story, we got to skip some of these, like what are probably interesting enough things if you're into that kind of thing. But
Sure.
we had it says here a 40-hour layover. I don't know if that's right or not. That seemed a little weird to me that we had a 40 hour. So we were sleeping in there. Or, I don't know.
Huh.
Colleen, if you're listening, correct me on that.
Wow. Feels like maybe 40-hour flight.
Yeah, because
or,
like right
or
here.
trip.
No,
I mean, it's
right here it
possible.
says like we had lunch in Russia and then we had dinner. Yeah, and like I have things like on the plane. Back in 2001, they had the 4x3 screen TV like every 10 rows or something like that.
Yeah, down the center.
So it's like you're sitting there. If you don't bring a book or something like that, then
Yeah.
you're just watching whatever they have. And they
Yeah.
had King of Queens on. I remember that only because it was one of the hardest. I was the only one laughing in the plane. Where Kevin James is like on the treadmill running his hardest, and she just screams out, "I hate me," and that made me laugh really hard. I'm looking around, I'm the only one laughing.
Fat American. You weren't fat then. Good for you.
Yeah, that came later.
But you did hate you, though.
I do. At any point in life, you can say that. So we get to New Delhi, and the thing, like, it's just such a different culture.
Sure.
Like the thing that really kind of paints the picture that I've seen is Slumdog Millionaire, where they have like toilets in the middle of the street, like these things you kind of just bend over on and stuff. And like, so witnessing that and the smells and stuff, it was pretty shocking to me.
Sure. Culture shock.
Culture shock. And so when we get there, we're joined by a photographer and our a driver. Someone's going to drive us, and then this guy Jigme. Hopefully, I can say that. I mean, he's passed away, so he unfortunately died, I believe, in a car accident. I think so.
I remember you talking a lot about Jigman. I remember that name a lot. I have
such a good dude.
I have a quick question though. When you got to this point where you're meeting up with these people, are you completely exhausted, like sleep deprived, exhausted in a terrible spot?
Yes.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so already right off the bat, you're starting off in this completely compromised state.
Yes, but you're still kind of excited,
Okay.
right? Like you go to film school and you're like, I just want to work in the industry, and then here I am on an HBO gig, traveling around the world. You kind of felt like, oh, this is amazing. I'm 22, 23 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
So it is amazing to me. Like I'm enjoying that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But on to Jigme. So Jigme was the relations between the United States and the Dalai Lama, and maybe like the whole camp or whatever.
And
maybe
so,
it's not just.
So just define that so I can understand it. Well, and others. But
Yeah.
so if anyone in the United States wants to communicate with the Dalai Lama, they have to go through Jigme. Is that correct?
See, this is the thing. Like, I don't know any of this at this time. Like,
okay.
so, and I never really followed up afterwards about
Makes
like,
sense.
I just knew the only reason this was somewhat important was we couldn't tell anyone we were with him because of, the Dalai Lama is pretty much wanted in China, right? That's the whole free Tibet thing. And so, and by the way, like I don't even want to pretend that I know all the ins and outs
Totally
of the
get it.
politics and
Same.
stuff.
Same.
But what I know is he was the relations to the United States to him. I don't exactly know what that means. However, it plays a bigger role down the line on why I'm even bringing that up.
So got it. So this was all somewhat of a secretive trip in that regard.
Yeah, very much so. We can't tell anyone where we're going because it's dangerous. It's pretty dangerous. And at no point did I feel up to an extent. I didn't feel like, oh my God, we're going to get found out or anything. And maybe that's just my being dumb or whatever, not really knowing.
Yeah, right, maybe.
But like what I do know is, and I have it here, like we start traveling, and I believe it's like an 11-hour drive that we have to do. And so keep it in mind, we're in one car, and I believe it's not like a van. It was like kind of like almost like a Land Rover from what I described here, where you have like a third row seats, but you had the driver, Jigme, the photographer, all adults, Shelly's parents. So you're looking at what is that? Five
6.
there. Is that 6? Wait, driver, Jigme, his parents, the photographer's 5.
Yeah.
The photographer's 6. The cameraman that I'm drawing a blank on his name is 7. Shelly and ourselves. So 9 people in this car. So think about like just an Explorer, or it was like
all the gear on top
all
of that.
the gear is in there and stuff. So you got to imagine there's like 3 rows of 3 people, and then our one has 4 rows, then 3 rows. So we're packed in there,
right,
for 11 hours. You know, and I'm sitting here keeping a journal, like, so I'm like writing over here on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not small, and I don't mean like fat. I mean you're 6'4".
Back then,
you're like
back then. Yeah, I was thin back then, but tall. Yeah,
yeah.
Tall.
You're a big guy. So the 11 hours you're talking about is to get from New Delhi to where the Dalai Lama is.
Yes,
located?
yeah, Dharamsala. Yeah,
Dharamsala. Got it.
Or Dharamsala. I'm not totally sure how to pronounce it. Okay. So it's literally one road. Wow. It's just one straight road, and it's going to take us 11 hours. At some point, we stop, and they have these like, you can't call them restaurants on the side of the road. They're kind of like stands, and there's like food there. Okay. But it's all like food that cows are sacred there, so it's not like you're eating a hamburger or something like that, you know? So it's like, it's all kind of weird meats that you don't really know what it is. It might be chicken. It might be
local.
Snake. Who knows?
Yeah. It's local.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it didn't taste good or anything like that. It's just like my body wasn't used to it. So like I was constantly just throughout this whole trip, like always on edge of like not feeling well and stuff.
You can't trust a fart, right? Like
oh, Jesus. We'll get to that later. So I remember at some point we pull out the camera and just start filming, and I'm telling you, within seconds, hundreds of people are around us because we have cameras, and like kids are pointing and stuff like that. And that was the first time I was like, oh crap, you can't do that. Like you can't just pull out equipment because it's very, very, very poor.
And this was got it. And so you're saying just at one of these stops by a food stand, you would pull out a camera just to try and document some of the trip or whatever the case was. But then all of a sudden you are what do you call that? You're a spectacle, right? Like
that's right.
People want to come and see what's going on. Wow.
Yep. I'm looking at it here. It's like this is I have right after. Me getting back in the car, we get all the equipment back in the car. It's like, well, that was dumb. That's literally how I said the sentence. Is like, we pulled out a camera, and within seconds, hundreds of people are surrounding us. Whoa. Yeah, it's crazy. So, anyways, so we get back in this car. I don't know. I don't have any. I should have wrote timestamps on here and stuff.
Well, whatever. Did you feel unsafe when that was happening? Like, did you feel like these people were trying to come for the gear, and you might be unsafe, or did you think it was just the spectacle nature of it?
It was that they kept getting closer and closer and closer until you couldn't move. And that's when it was like, oh, dude, like if something happens, that's not good. So our driver's like, we got to go. Who's also our translator's like, we got to go. So we go on this, what should have been 11 hours on this straight road. And 17 hours in, we're still on this straight road. I have here. It's been 17 hours going straight. Now, I may have exaggerated because, again, I was trying to do stand-up comedy. Maybe there was turns. I don't remember any turns. I don't have any turns in here. So it just seems like we got lost on a straight road, which is comical in itself. But it was 17 hours we were in this car.
Oh, my God.
And go ahead.
I can't even. None of it computes. I mean, look, we did, like you said, we used to do the Miami to Michigan drive a lot, right? Like quite a bit. And we could make it in like 22 hours. So it's not like we didn't know what that was like, but that was not crammed in with 9 people in India in the heat and just everything. I can't even imagine and coordinating that and just bathroom breaks and
we had to get there that night because the next morning was our first interview. So we had to kind of be up and ready to go.
Wow.
So I have the first night. We're sleeping in this room. It's this camera guy, and I wish I knew his name. I'm going to keep saying that. So
Well, hold on. So before you get there, you finally arrive at the place that you're supposed to. The drivers got you there, whatever the case is. What's the general sense of the space when you get there? Because you know you're going to see the Dalai Lama, right? And so there is a certain level of, you know.
The first interview wasn't with the Dalai Lama.
Understood, but I mean, that's why you're there. Oh, and was it not going to be at this location? Or
No.
was it? Oh,
no, we had to,
okay,
we had
sorry,
to travel
keep
a bunch of different locations.
Oh,
but so let me just read you this. Car ride is over. Total driving time, 19 hours. It's now 6 in the morning. We were lost for a while. The funny thing is, it's been in one road that we got lost on. Anyways, I have to sleep. We start work in 4 hours.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
So to your whole, so here's the other aspect is the camera guy I was rooming with, he had a tent to keep bugs out. Dude,
Yeah.
I have this thing in here is I messed up so bad I didn't bring a tent.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I heard the biggest thing trying to get in or out. I don't know. It was too dark and I was under my covers the whole 4 hour sleep or whatever. I mean, I think it was 3 hours. And I was terrified because you just hear this like thing trying to get out
Yeah.
or in. I hope. Oh, it's horrible. And he's sleeping away because he's in his tent.
So did somebody tell you to bring a tent and you
No.
just didn't? Right,
No,
so
I mean maybe.
that feels like
Maybe, but you also gotta think too, like, dude, I didn't have money back then.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, you're not gonna go to the store and go spend $600 on equipment for the trip. I get it.
And remember, I had to get vaccines to go there and stuff like that. So I'm paying for all of this stuff out of my pocket and stuff, and
Wow.
yeah, it was brutal.
I guess I'm commenting because you said you screwed up, but like how are you supposed to know that, right? Like how are you supposed to know that, and how are you supposed to be able to pay for it to make sure you did it? Like there's just levels of it I don't think is on you in that regard.
Yeah, maybe I'd have to go back in time. I didn't keep a journal of when we had pre-production and stuff, so maybe they said that and like make sure you bring a tent.
Yeah, list of things to bring.
Yeah.
Number 1.
A paper and a journal. All right, so we do this first interview, and it was kind of a nondescript interview. We do our first interview.
Okay.
If I'm looking back now on the actual doc, there's 3 main people and then a bunch of other smaller interviews or supporting interviews. Actually, I should say 4. The first one is the Dalai Lama. That's obviously the big one. Second one is the Karmapa, who is... when the Dalai Lama dies, the Karmapa takes over until they can find the reincarnated Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
The Dalai Lama's sister was on our interview list, and then the family who we were going to follow with this. It's the kid actually leaving his family to become a monk. We were going to film that. So you're watching a family let their kid go. It was sad.
Ugh. Is this? We'll come back to that. Is this documentary available to view anywhere at this point?
I haven't looked for it in 25 years, but we'll get to the aftermath of like what happened with it. It was some of the cool stuff that I was involved in.
But the last time you saw the documentary is 25 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, it was in. Well, yeah, probably. I mean, it was in a film festival and then on HBO.
Got it.
But I haven't looked for it since. I would imagine it's probably still somewhere.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, it's called Little Monk. So. Just to kind of speed things up, because there's interesting things that are happening here. Like I can go on about. After that, we then traveled to the side of the mountain where there's this cottage. It is one of the most beautiful cottages I've ever stayed in. It's where it was like a month before we got there. Pierce Bronson was staying there, so it's where if you're a celebrity, that's where you go to stay because it's not luxury by any stretch of the imagination, but it's nice, and you're out in the wilderness and stuff, and it's beautiful. And the biggest takeaway that I have from this cottage was unbelievable breakfast. And they had this chai tea. I've been trying to find this thing was so amazing. I don't know if they used goat milk or what. It was unbelievable, this chai tea. I've been chasing that dragon ever since I got back.
Wow, that's interesting.
So we go to... where we're scheduled to go to the Dalai Lama's sister's house. That's going to be our kind of first main interview, and after these supporting characters that we did. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it still coming up? And I'm not trying to spoiler. Like, we can cut this part out. Is this still coming up where you're held at gunpoint?
Yeah, that's coming up.
I thought that was before you even started shooting. I misunderstood.
No.
So sorry. We got keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the supporting characters.
Yeah, but well, you brought up something that we're cutting just so that it keeps in order. But one of the weird things about traveling in India is there's these kind of checkpoints along the way where you have to show your papers. It's not like the States where you can go, from Michigan to Ohio and with no problem. It's like anywhere you go there, you got to show and you got to have reasons. So, while we were driving, even in the middle of the night, they stopped us, checked our stuff, and let us go. Checked our papers and let us go. This will come up later on after we leave Dharamsala. So we go at this time. Now, how I have it here, the location doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know if this was in Dharamsala or right outside it. Regardless, we had to travel up the base of the Himalayan mountains. And at this time, it was monsoon season.
Ugh. And this is in the car that you were...
This is in that jammed car, and it is basically a one road up and down.
Of course.
But it's 2 lanes.
Right.
It's one lane.
Right.
But they say it's 2 lanes.
Totally.
So much so that if a car's coming and you can't get past, you got to back up until there's a turn that you can both get around.
Yeah.
The most terrifying. I'm going to cut to, this is probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I was in Arizona with Brad, and we were driving on the side of one of these mountains in Sedona, and I had flashbacks and PTSD, like grabbing the seat, like, because ultimately what happened, and I didn't, because this is 70 pages, I didn't go through everything. At some point, a bus full of people went over the side while we were there. Now,
you didn't witness this.
I didn't witness it. We just saw the aftermath. So, so we were stuck on the side of this mountain for like an hour and 20, I think it says here, because a bus lost traction and went down.
Oh, wow.
So, like, that was one of those things where, like,
what am I doing here?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know where that is. I can go through, but that doesn't matter when that happened, because whatever.
It's terrifying.
Regardless. So we go to the Dalai Lama's sister's house, which I believe this is Jake May's mom. Sweetest woman you'll ever see. The only reason I'm bringing this up, the only thing of importance, other than she was a great interview, was I was doing sound. So I was the boom person. So she's sitting across, I'm booming her, and I see a banana spider in the corner. I've never seen a banana spider, and to this day have never seen a spider this big.
I think you touched on this on one of our episodes.
I'm sure I did, because the whole thing is I'm doing sound and I'm just staring at this thing, and every now and then you see the boom come in and they're like, Rick. It's like,
boom,
Rick. And dude, I'm just sitting there staring at this thing and like, oh my God, please don't move. So that was that. So we do that interview. We're going in and out of town. So we're going up and down this mountain quite a bit. We finally.
Wait, I want to ask about that. What was your sense of the driver that was driving you around to places? Were you confident or was this guy like looking back, talking to you? Like, do you feel safe, or did it feel very unsafe as far as, did you remember any of that?
I don't remember. I don't necessarily have anything here of him per se. I mean, he was a nice guy. I have in here that he was nice, and
but clearly he wasn't terrible. So
he wasn't terrible, but the situation was terrible.
Of course.
And these are details I'm skipping forward because it's already 36 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to the meat of the story
good stuff.
yet. So,
yeah.
So it's like I'm skipping over that, like, there's cows everywhere, like literally just walking down the street, and so like you can't go fast because a cow is there.
Of course.
So there's that kind of culture differences that, like, I mean, if the guy's swerving from a cow, is he a good driver or a bad driver? I don't know. I mean, Um,
Yeah.
so the next interview we do is with the Karmapa. This is the
Replacement for the
takes
Dalai
over,
Lama. Yeah.
until they find him.
Wait,
So
yep.
he was a kid that was like 16 years old, maybe. Like, I kept hearing about the Karmapa, and I thought he was going to be like 55 years old, 60 years old.
Sure.
He's this kid.
Wise old individual.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and Shally did a good job. He gave him a ball as a gift and stuff. And I remember that interview being like, this is actually like they're 7 years at 10 to 17 is a big difference, but they're still kids. They're both kids.
Yeah.
So I remember the interview and being like, cool. Like it was he did a really good job.
And all of these individuals speak English, so you're able to interview them
No.
in English.
No.
They all required a translator.
The Dalai Lama's sister, from what I remember, I have to go back and watch the doc. So I believe she spoke English. The Karmapa did not. So we go and film. This is the day, I believe, and I'd have to double check my notes, but we go and film. We're going to film after this is probably the day after the Karmapa. We're going to go and film the Dalai Lama. And before then, we go and film the school that's at the base with all these, I don't believe they're monks at this point. I don't think they are. But we go, there's a school at the base. And it was this picturesque school on the side of a mountain. The kids were everyone was happy. It was just one of these like beautiful moments of like, oh my God. And we filmed it and it was just cool. It was like, oh, this is why we're here. And you realize like when you're seeing kids kicking a soccer ball or playing stickball, where you're like, kids are kids. Like they don't care. They just want to have fun. They probably don't want to go to school and they get there. So we then go from there. I believe we start heading into the Dalai Lama's where we I don't know how to call it because I don't know what to call it, but we'll say compound.
Okay.
And I remember security was heavy, not like with guns or anything like that, but like they had to check our equipment over and over and over again. Like we'd go upstairs, check our equipment, come down. I even have it in here as like, they checked us on every turn, which totally makes sense, So here's the thing. This is where like when I always tell people I got to meet the Dalai Lama, this is what shocks people. This is the part that shocks people. So on the way to India, the only book I had was the book that the Dalai Lama wrote. Or I don't even know if he wrote it or if someone wrote it for him or whatever. But in there, like they have interviews with people talking about how he can read your mind. Like he just knows what you're thinking. And I have in here his I'm about to go interview the Dalai Lama. Remember, clean thoughts.
So I remember having this conversation with you before you left because I remember my sister, Deanne, also mentioned something because when she found out you were going on a trip to go meet the Dalai Lama, she was like losing her mind. She's like, what? First of all, she knew the idiot that you are, right?
Yeah,
you grew up in the house,
yeah.
Whatever. She's like, what are you talking about? She thought it was absolutely incredible, right? At your age and to be able to go and be able to do that kind of stuff. But she immediately went down that path. She's like, you don't understand. This is really important. She's like, there are people that believe he can like read minds and he can, and the whole reincarnation and it's
maybe
like
that's where I got that from.
Super important. I think it is where you initially maybe
because
got it from.
I was going to say like for me to read the whole book, like I probably skimmed through the book.
I'm pretty sure that's where it came from.
It's probably deep.
Probably, yeah. So
because I have in here clean thoughts. All right, so we get in there. And by the way, everywhere you go, they're giving you flags and scarves and stuff as not souvenirs. That's not the right word.
Gifts.
It's kind of like
gifts.
They're gifts, but it's like offerings or something like that. I don't know. So I still have a lot of my gifts and scarves.
Really?
Yeah. So I say that because I had some of my scarves on when I went in there, and so we go in and we open the door, and we step in, and the Dalai Lama loses his mind yelling, and I was like floored.
You're like, clean thoughts, clean thoughts, clean thoughts.
I was like, I don't even understand. Because he was speaking in Tibetan, so I don't know what he was saying, but he was yelling at Jigme.
Wow.
Something wasn't handled right or whatever. So within like 30 seconds of this, they exit us out of the room. And so like I have here is like, so here's what I wrote.
Go. Buckle
Was
up.
it something I thought? It's like we were just escorted out of the room for 30 minutes. I will find out from Jigme what ended up happening. So it was like a 30 minutes. We were sitting outside there not knowing what was going on.
Wow.
So we get in there, and it is awesome. It is awesome because there's translation, but the Dalai Lama speaks really broken English at times, and Shally was good. Like he was a kid asking thoughtful questions that a kid would ask, but it felt weighted. It didn't feel like a journalist going in there like trying to get an angle on a story. This was just a kid like who we know we're going to film with a kid who's going to leave his family to become a monk. So he was asking thoughtful questions like that, like what can you take with you? What what's the process? All these things. So it was really interesting. So to your point earlier about like we're feeding him questions, if there was a conversation that happened, he retained everything. Right.
Wow.
Like, which is what a reporter would do anyways. You know, you
Right.
research and you get your thoughts. I don't have anything in here that he had paper or anything in front of him. Maybe if I go back and watch the doc, maybe he did. But man, it was a thoughtful interview. And the Dalai Lama
Felt genuine.
It did. It felt really genuine. And the Dalai Lama was so sweet to him. Just super sweet.
Got all his yelling out of the way.
Yeah, all the yelling was out of the way. That's the thing. Is like every time I've told someone this story, like, "Oh, you got to beat the Dalai Lama." He's like, "Yeah, well, not what you think."
But I don't know. I have no idea, and I can't imagine what was going through your head during those times. But I wonder how common that was, and I wonder how many people have actually been able to witness the Dalai Lama being very angry, right? Because when you think about the Dalai Lama, that's not the idea of, that the general persona, right, is more of this like collected and wise old, whatever. So I don't know. I just think there's a really interesting like juxtaposition of the fact that the first time you're in there, you're like, oh, smokes, like he's on fire right now, just like yelling at people. I don't know. I think it's pretty fascinating.
It is fascinating. It's one of those moments I'll cherish because how many people actually get to see it. And if we're not with Jigme, we're just other interviewers going in there. But it was kind of like he had to have felt comfortable because we were with Jigme.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a interesting moment. Now the other thing is we all got to take a picture afterwards with them. I have no idea where that picture is.
Oh wow.
Because it was old school film. Like
Colleen,
you had to.
Colleen.
Yeah, please. She may actually have that. I would imagine she still has that. Maybe it's in the movie. Maybe it's in the film. I don't know. But yeah, like God, I wish I would have kept that. So anyway, so we leave there, and I want to say the next day is when we start filming with the kid who's going to leave his family, and I'm telling you, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Like,
this is how old is this kid at this point? That's leaving?
6 or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like it's his last time he's going to see his parents. It's heartbreaking.
Wow.
Yeah, it actually was. It was a day that I like. There was on this. Hold on, let me get that thing. On this day, there was no joking in the journal. It was like this is actually pretty serious. I wrote in here. It's like this is weight. This has a lot of weight to it.
Which is really interesting in the sense that you're at a point, you don't have kids at this point, right? You're not in a marriage. You don't have any kids. So for it to impact you even then really speaks to the weight of the situation that you're picking that up.
And that they're sending their kid off for a better life, which you can imagine how poor some of these people are. Like these were one room stone
Homes.
room type thing. And so they're sending off for the kid to have a better life. So that day really weighed on me. We one of the things too about being around monks, because we're shooting B-roll in between these interviews and stuff. One of the things about being around these monks, other than they make unbelievable chai, is that they have these exercises where they'll take like sand and they'll put it like almost like looks like a little straw, and they're like rubbing them together, and they do this unbelievable art. So when you look at it, it's like when it's done, it's gorgeous. Could easily hang up, and as soon as it's done, they blow it all away.
Yeah.
And
Carrie talks about this all the time.
Yeah. What does she know about that?
I wouldn't be able to repeat it, but she speaks to the theory behind, you know, the creation of the art, but then erasing it as soon as it's done, right? So it has
It's nothing lasts forever type thing.
Correct, and it has more to do with the journey and the act of doing than it does about the final product. You know, it's associated with it. But Carrie talks about it with art in relation to art in her classes and stuff like that. So and I've seen some of it. And it's unbelievable. Like, meaning the detail that they put into these, you know, these images and these designs.
You know, and it's not just one or whatever. It's hundreds of monks doing it, and like each little sand is traveling down this stick. You got to imagine how long it's like a month to do the work or whatever, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
One of the other things too is waking up early. We woke up and there was clacking and clapping like over and over again. You're like, what in the world is going on? And you get to this like square, and these monks are like debating each other, and they'll either do like a slap when they make a point, or they'll have these two wood blocks and they hit the blocks of wood when they make a point. So you just hear clicking and clacking. I was like, we need those for the podcast, just clacking when I make a good point or something.
Just some blocks of wood, just boom, peak our mic. Wow.
So
that's interesting.
So we're now okay. So, and again, like I mentioned that thing about the drive-in where the bus went off. This had to have been after the Dharamsala trip when we were heading back, because we're now heading back to go to Goa. Everyone, this was kind of the going to be the turn in our trip where we're kind of roughing it. We're going to take a train now. We're gonna have luxury train that we're on. I mean, luxury is not in a
relative. Yes, relative.
Right, it's not in a cramped car. We had a couple of interviews in Goa that we were going to make, and then so we're traveling and we get caught behind this van this bus that went over the edge. So we end up missing the train. So.
All right, well, hold on. I have a quick question before you get to that. I'm sorry to derail.
No, go ahead. Oh,
so, from a production standpoint, all this was to tape? Question mark?
Yeah,
must have been.
DV tape. Yep.
DV, not mini DV, or what? It doesn't matter.
No, I'm sorry, mini DV. Yeah,
mini DV down. So, and there's only one copy at this point of any footage that you're taking. There are no safeties. There are no. So everything that you guys are carrying with you is the entire production. Is everything you?
Oh yeah. No, it's a good point, because you forget now, like. We back up everything as we're shooting. You double back up and
before you leave, so it's in multiple places and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, there's none of that like this. It's just the master is the master tape. If it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it's a different level of, and needing to make sure you're capturing. You know, it's working. It's fun. You know, I don't know. Production back then was very different than it is now in terms of capabilities for making sure you've got what you have. I don't know why it just popped into my head.
No,
you're talking about traveling.
It's a good point, because you know where this is going.
Yeah, and you're talking about traveling, and there's just such a different level of importance associated with certain bags and things that you have to make sure you have, right? That can't get destroyed or wrecked or whatever, because otherwise all of it is for nothing, literally for nothing.
That's right.
So sorry,
we filmed this kid leaving. If we lose that tape,
right,
we're never getting that back.
Gone.
Dalai Lama, maybe we can get another interview with, maybe.
Right.
But kid leaving, ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So we may have to do this whole thing over again, because the cameraman's name is Nick.
What? We don't do it over again. Great.
Just Nick. So now we'll just kind of put it in every time.
I was going to think about, we should just give him a name, right?
I was going to give him Charlie, but I was
going to give him James. Turns out it's Nick.
So we missed
you missed the train.
We missed the train, and this starts a domino of weird things that happen. So we start traveling. I don't know what it is, but once we start getting stopped, we're now getting shook down at all of these stations.
Same car with the same guy,
car,
same driver.
but we're going to a different area. We're going to Goa. We're not going back to New Delhi.
Sure, I just wanted to. It's still the nine.
Everything's
the same vehicle.
We're all
got
in this cramped thing. We got the guy I guess we extended his driving or whatever.
Right.
So we're all in the same van. You know, we're all kind of defeated at this point because we're like, finally, we're going to travel, like not all squished together and stuff.
Yeah.
And we miss the train. So when we get to these stops, they're asking us for money, and they're like, we want like 50,000 rupees, and we're like, oh my god, like, and we're like, it's like $1.25, you know.
Right,
so like,
right.
all right, just pay it and stuff.
But at the checkpoint, so this is at each checkpoint, and there's nothing seemingly actually official about this. This is just a shakedown. Like, this
I mean,
is like shady,
I would imagine
scary.
they're official stops, but
right.
Give
but
us how much do you have in your wallet is not an official statement.
That's not the government policy.
No. So we're heading in. And I don't even have, I mean, I'd have to go in here how long it is, but one of the checkpoints that we're at, they wanted something, and I don't believe we had it. Like they may have wanted 100,000 rupees. I think the driver was negotiating or something like that, and they started yelling at us. And I don't know who.
Well, wait. I want to set the tone for this as well. So you're at these checkpoints are with like armed guards. Like,
yeah, they're armed guards.
Every single one of these are people with full on like military grade weapons.
It's
and how
like
many
if you were to
types
close
of
your
people?
eyes, if you were to close your eyes and say you had a shady checkpoint. Whatever you're picturing, that's what it was.
Got it. Okay.
Like we've seen enough American movies to know what a
criminal. They're not all that wrong. Okay. Got
they're
it.
based in truth.
Okay. So they wanted something. We didn't have it. They start yelling.
They wanted some number, and I think it was Colleen maybe or maybe the driver. I don't have this part written down, but someone says no. So it starts them yelling. I can't imagine it being Colleen would just be like, no, we're not paying that or whatever. It's like, or maybe we didn't have it or whatever.
Right.
But all of a sudden, and again, I don't know who, someone snaps a picture from inside the car out.
Oh.
All hell breaks loose then. They pull us out of the car and are screaming at us and, you know, pointing guns at us and stuff. They start asking us to open the trunk and start going through like all the footage or like all of our bags and everything like that. I don't know how they did not find the tapes. I do not know that. Like I was looking through this, like, how did we hide the tapes? Because there's no way. They took the camera. And I remember like that we were like, oh my God, they're gonna take our camera, like our shoot's done, like we're game over. And then I think they made us take the film out of the camera that was snapped. Now keep it in mind, I say I don't know who took it because we each had little cameras, you know, and then there was the big camera that the photographer was with and stuff. So who knows?
Lots of cameras in the
but
vehicle.
it was the scaredest I've ever been. I remember the thing that I remember most is my leg couldn't stop shaking. One leg couldn't stop. Like, you know, like when you're nervous, it goes up and down. Like I couldn't get it to stop.
Okay, so
oh my God.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want to lean into that in terms of your nerves of the fact that you've got these guys with guns. So at any point up to here, were guns pointed at people?
So in my head, yes, and in the thing that I wrote, yes, but I couldn't. I don't like it. It was a blur. Everything happened. You know, like in movies when things are happening fast and like flash frames of things happening and stuff. That's what it all felt like. I'm looking around at things, like looking at Shelly, like, you know, where are you? Okay, Colleen, what's going on? Like, you know, because I'm 23 at this time. Like, I'm still a kid, really. You know, so you're looking for the adults. Like, what's going on here? And they're going through our bags and everything like this, you know. And so I thought it was game over. I thought, like, you hear about these things where journalists get killed. Not that we're journalists. Well, Shelley was a journalist, but like these journalists get killed and stuff. Like, that's what was going through my head. So I don't, you know, again, like, I'm 23, wanting to be a filmmaker. Like, so I may have over embellished. In my head, guns were pointed at us. On the paper here, guns were pointed at us. can I say 100% that they were, or if they were just everything was moving fast? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But there's no question at that moment you were fearing for your life.
Fear,
right?
totally
I mean,
fearing for my life.
Like
100%.
You didn't know that you were going to make it
100%.
out of that situation.
100%. There were guns involved and a lot of yelling.
Yeah, and they angrily ripped everything out of the car and ripped and went through everything that was there. And
it would be interesting. Maybe I'll call Colleen or have her on or something, because she could probably fill in some of these holes. Like, how did they not find the tapes? It's not like we shot 1 or 2 tapes. Like, we shot like 30 tapes at this point or whatever. Right. And maybe they did find them and I just wasn't aware of it, or maybe we gave them money or something. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. And then as fast as it started, it was everyone get in the car and let's go. It like there wasn't it was like just get everything in the car and go.
We don't care about packing it up. Just get it in the vehicle and get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
terrifying.
we stopped at a place to readjust everything.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying just because of how secretive we had to have been because of the Dalai Lama. Like, the last thing we need is India government know that we're filming the Dalai Lama and we have all these tapes here.
Right.
You know, it's not going to look good for any of us.
So do you think that was the first time? I don't remember. I know you got kind of held up in Miami, but I don't know the timeline. Was that the first time you'd ever really feared for your life?
Yes.
From external.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, and the whole leg shaking thing makes sense. That's your adrenaline.
Oh no, I know that now. Yeah, dude. But it's also like they don't speak the language, so there's no
Sure, you don't really
talking your way out of it and stuff.
Sure.
And the thing that I wrote here is, hold on, let me find it. I think it's here. Yeah, I highlighted is my first thought when I believed that they pointed the gun at us was to run. Was it just take off running?
Figure
it out later.
It's one of the things I thought about.
Dude, it was nothing but open area.
Right.
It's not like there was trees I can go hide behind or whatever.
Right.
And so I'm just running straight. For sure they're going to start shooting. Yeah. So, So we get our stuff, we pack it up, and then we go to Goa. The only couple... Because it doesn't get highlight wise, meeting Dalai Lama and having yelling, and then the guns pointed at us. There's not anything else that's so dramatic or up or down. Other than this is Jamie Christopherson, who's our friend in LA who does scores movies.
Jamie. Yeah.
Jamie's great. He does movies, but his first credit in a movie was on this film Blow with Johnny Depp. Yep. And I think it was, I don't even know what his credit was, but I remember him being in there, and it's I did a film with him. He scored a movie I edited in college. And so we were good friends ever since. And so to have your friend's name in a feature film that was in a theater and stuff was a big step forward. And they had it on bootleg in India. So I bought it.
You talking about his movie that he had credit on. There was a bootleg version in India.
Yeah. So as soon as I got back, I emailed him hey, I got Blow at home. He's like, dude, it's in theaters. How do you have it at home? I'm like, I was in India. Enough said.
So oh wow.
It was it was everything you thought it would be. Someone filming in a theater, bobbing up and down, heads,
of course,
shaking. Oh, it's bad sound.
Legit bootleg.
And it was on this thing called DivX or something that. You need a DivX player or something. Oh, brutal.
Yeah, it's terrible compression. Anyway.
I'll say this. So Goa was unbelievably beautiful.
Who was that again?
Goa's the
city
place that we went to. The city we went to was unbelievably lush, beautiful.
Wow.
Then the last thing I'll say about this that was somewhat dramatic was on my way back, I was in Russia, getting on my plane to JFK. Then I was going to take JFK to Miami. I may have had $20 to my name, which is why I didn't have a tent. So, this is old school days. We're going through the security line. They're like, take your wallet out. They literally grabbed me and turned me around and stuff like this. And I'm like, all disoriented and stuff. They're talking to me in Russia and stuff. And by the way, at this point, I don't know what happened, but I was traveling alone because Shally and his family either were on a different plane or something. So from Russia to JFK, no, it was JFK. I was traveling alone. I don't know why that would have been, but regardless, so I was traveling alone there. So I get all turned around, and I like they literally push me out of the gate and stuff like that. And then so I catch my flight. I'm on the plane. On the plane, I'm like, "Where's my wallet?"
Oh,
Dude,
God.
they took my wallet in the line. So when they were turning me down and just pushed me, they took my wallet.
They were
My last $20. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, well, I got to eat something on the plane because I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat in New York. I don't know how long of a layover it was.
Yeah.
So I eat the salad on the plane.
Yeah.
From India to Russia.
Oh, God.
That plane, and I actually it was probably Russia to New York,
JFK,
but regardless, regardless, I got so sick almost instantly.
Oh.
Almost instantly, because they washed it with the water,
Yeah.
salads with the water or whatever. This guy next to me, because I don't know, I must have been freaking out on the plane or whatever like that. He's like, just relax, it's gonna be fine or whatever like that. Like we'll figure it out. And I'm 22, 3 years old, so
this was a passenger that was sitting,
passenger. Yeah, he was
sitting with
yeah,
you.
he was an American going back to New York and stuff. We get off the plane. As soon as we get off the plane, he's like, "Here's $20 to get you something to eat, and hopefully it'll get you home and stuff like that." I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's amazing!" And it's one of those things where like that. Those are the things that kind of shape you. Like if I ever saw some kid like that, I was like, "Oh, I've been in that situation. Here you go. Here's money. No questions asked or whatever." And it's one of those things where like you wish you could remember those people's names or give them some type of credit in life. Of like this was before social media, where like, all right, let's just take a selfie so that we can film how nice I am. Like this was just some dude who was like, this kid's down and out right now, and to $20 back then. Yeah. It gets you back home. It got me food and stuff, and
kindness. Kindness of strangers, and it's interesting you say that under the guise of shaping you, right, for your own experiences to be able to pass along, like pay it forward, to other people, in the future.
Yeah, but we would have been like that. I mean, that was nice at that moment, but you and I were always kind of like that anyways. Like if we saw someone on the side of the road, we'd stop or whatever.
Yeah, yes, I get it, but yeah, it is always refreshing. That's like restores your faith in humanity type situations. So we kind of talked about this being like a defining moment for you. So what is it about it along the way it feels like it's defining for you?
So in a very negative way, I hate to travel now. I feel nervous as all hell going out of the country. In the country, I'm fine. But it's the out of the country where I don't know, especially the language and stuff. Like I get anxiety ridden. Like it's so bad. And like Gigi wants to go to Italy. Her parents are from, or her dad's from Italy. She's got family there. She wants to go there and stuff. There's like this weird part of me. On our honeymoon, we went to Paris. Like I was like,
it's not a weird part. It's PTSD.
No, it is. It is. Like it's the whole like, I don't know. Yeah. So that's really defined me on that side. But the other thing too is kind of rolling with the punches. Like you've always said this about me that like I'm good at kind of improvising on set and those kind of things. And it's because of that kind of stuff. It's like. You can't go in with any type of script. You get a plan, but like when you miss a train, it's like you got to make the documentary still. Like, so what can we fill in this time? Did we miss this interview? What do you do? So even though like I wasn't directing that, it did give me a lasting impression of like how to handle the problems in the situations. The other thing too is it's one of those things where looking back on Dale letting me go do that, because remember I was working for him at the time. He's like, just go do it. We'll still pay you. Like you won't lose any money going and doing this. And he knew that was like a once in a lifetime thing. Wow. And it's just like, who does that? Like, I mean, I get a lot of people do that, but it's like, not to me.
No, but, yeah, of course. That's not, that's a real testament to Dale but also the relationship, and your worth and value, to the situation.
And
all
I
those
should say
things.
Chris Nicholas too, because him
Yeah,
and Dale owned. It's
yeah.
weird because those
Yeah,
two.
Dale
they
and
were
Chris.
like
I know
family, Dale
every
and
time you
Chris.
mention Dale in my head, I go Dale and Chris.
Yeah.
But
But
I get it.
so to put a button kind of on an India thing, so Brandon and I cut the film. Brandon, who we always talk about on this, Mr. Emergency CPAP. We cut the film and it makes it into AFI Festival, the American Institute Film Festival,
Okay.
prestigious film festival. And
Where is that at?
This is in LA.
Okay.
So it was my first time ever going to LA, and we're going there for a film, and we got the HBO badges. So because we have an HBO film, I remember Brandon and I sitting in the bar, and the bartender's like, "Hey, you guys work with HBO?" And we're like, "Yeah, we have this film there." And he's like, "Hey, do you mind reading my script?" It's like, we're nobodies. We're less than nobodies. Like, and we're trying to tell this guy's like, dude,
Welcome to LA.
You don't want us reading the script. He's like, no. You got to film with HBO. It's like, no. We were on the crew of a film. And so he's like, yeah, but you're here. Like, you got to be important. It's like, no. How many ways can we say this?
Between the two of us, we're not sure we can actually get through the script.
No. They only gave us one ticket. And we're going to just take turns going in and out. So, but I will say this too. There was this, I don't remember what it was. Like, there was these kids who saw the film, like a group of a school came to watch the film. And so afterwards they wanted Brandon and I's autograph and stuff. We're like, we are nobodies.
Oh, but that's super fun. I mean, especially when you're kids. And
when you're a kid, you don't know who's who, and it's like, hey, these guys might be someone.
Yeah,
and even
I mean, you're an adult for young kids.
Being
at that
serious,
point.
like, or pulling back the curtains, it was cool. Like,
It
someone
is
asked for your
cool.
autograph.
It's really fun. I do,
Yeah.
and especially. I mean, when you think back to when you're young, right? Call it whatever. Call it 5th, 6th grade, right? Type thing. When you look at 22-year-olds or 24-year-olds, they're full-fledged adults. They're old
adults.
people,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
asking for an autograph makes complete sense. But it's I think that's hilarious. And did you guys sign stuff?
Of
Did
course.
you do it?
The weirdest thing we signed was a rock. Someone didn't have paper, so like, will you send this
that's
rock?
Incredible. I love everything about that.
Can you imagine if that kid still has it?
They might in a memory box.
I don't know who this is, but I'm not throwing it away. Yeah, that's true. How many autographs on rocks do you have in your collection?
Only like 6. It's not that many. God. So, what happened with the doc after the screening? So, how many times did you screen it while you were there? Was it just one? Did it play one time or something like that? Or don't know?
God, I didn't keep a journal then. Of all the crazy,
done with that.
Like, the thing is like, I'm trying to make this a manageable podcast. There's things I could have dove into, like the restaurants in New Delhi, what that was like once we actually got back to New Delhi and we went to a luxury restaurant. Like, but maybe like if there's questions or whatever, if someone wants to know more, we can
we can
follow
come back
up or
to it.
something.
Sure,
but
sure.
but it was the broad strokes. The other thing too is like the difference between even though your firecracker story went on for years, it really happened in one night, and then the aftermath of it. This was over 10 days and stuff. So
yeah. That's all. It's all very interesting. And I remember thinking, because I was down there during that time, I think. I mean, in Miami, but
were you on 7801? Were you at Full Sail?
Oh, I was at Full Sail.
Yeah,
I was at. Yeah, no. So I graduated. Yeah, I started in 01. I started February of 01. So no, I wasn't living down there. I was in Orlando.
No, but you were in Florida.
Yeah, and visiting, right? Like I would always drive down. Whatever the case was.
You did a lot of that.
It
It was only a 3-hour drive, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think all of it's. I think it's very cool. I think it's an incredible experience that very few people get to get to be a part of. So after the film festival, did it get aired on HBO? And then
Yeah, it aired on HBO, and I remember seeing it. Like they had a premiere party when it was on, and then after that, I don't know. You know, I still kept in contact with Colleen and Shally through the years, especially on Facebook. He did a couple other films after that, and then I at that point, I don't know. I started doing my own directing and producing and stuff like that.
Sure, that's fun, man. I think it's a great story. I think I think as far as a defining moment, it is just it's a monumental experience that you went through.
Well, it's also the start. It's really the first time where even though there wasn't like you kind of sink or swim on your own merits and talents and all those kind of things. Like, though I went there for sound, I was also holding the camera. I was also filming things.
Sure.
But also how to put a story together in the field. That was my first time where I was the person that was like, all right, Shally, we can do this, this, and this. Maybe wake up early, we get a sunrise shot that we can then always have, passage of time, blah, blah, blah. So all that kind of stuff was definitely very defining in those times.
Fun. That's awesome. It's very cool.
Finally got that story out. I don't love the way I told it, but for me to like really tell it, I'd have to sit down and write it out and stuff, and that's not gonna happen. And I probably got some of these things wrong because, like I said, I was trying to be poetic and edgy at the same time.
Well,
so I was
we'll
paraphrasing.
We'll see who wants to correct us.
Yeah. There's only 3 people out there that can.
That's fun. Well, I don't know. I think it's great. I think what? Oh, what?
What do we want to talk about? That Texas Crew Productions #1 over the Diddy doc over the.
Do we?
Do you notice I cut that out of the before the Diddy doc aired? I cut out that I said we would be #1.
Yeah.
I cut that out of our podcast. I thought it was bad juju. Like, I don't want that out there.
Yeah,
it's better to like be somewhat humble, and then when
it
gets to #1, you're like,
it is. Yeah, for sure you should. And then I have a confession about it. So it's incredible that the Diddy doc is #1. And still holding strong. Is it
no?
Still?
No.
It's okay. Yeah. Fell off. I have an admission that
you haven't watched it?
No, I did watch it, and I got to a point where I had to stop. I couldn't. It was making me
miss Miami.
It was making me too angry. That there were so many parts of it that I thought were done so well, but as I was watching it, I was like, this is literally making me angry to witness this and see this, and I don't want to be in that headspace. I had to stop watching it. It's
a good Christmas watch.
It was on my Christmas break. It's just so deplorable that I was just like, I can't keep doing this. So it's not that I don't support it. I definitely clicked it and let it run for the views. But
we'll leave with a cliffhanger though. On the next podcast, remind me to tell the story about when I was filming the first time with 50 Cent and we crashed his Lamborghini.
Oh yes, can't wait.
We'll show the video.
Oh, all right. Good defining moment. Feel like we're done. Are we done?